And we're going to take our TheraBand and place it behind the back, high enough so that it's where the rib cage is. And then we'll cross it in front and we'll hold on to the ends. I've got my elbows in so that I can open through my collarbones and allow my shoulders to soften. And then let's just notice our standing position. So let's lift our toes. We'll find the four corners of the feet and then lower the toes, maintaining the weight over those four corners. We'll move up. We'll notice that we have a little bit of softness or buoyancy in our knees. And our pelvis, or our ribs rather, are hovering above the pelvis. And then we'll gently glide the chin in towards the throat. We'll feel the feet rooting into the ground, and then we'll grow tall through the spine. Chin stays parallel to the floor. And let's take some breaths here. We'll inhale. As you inhale, feel for the ribs to expand around the TheraBand in all directions. And as you exhale, we'll release, ribs softening, shoulders softening, keeping the length throughout the spine. So head, imagining that it's floating like a helium balloon. We'll inhale, expand the ribs. And we'll exhale, release. And inhale, expand. Exhale, release. If this creates any discomfort, you're also welcome to do your breaths without the TheraBand. Let's take two more. And as we inhale, we'll notice the ribs stay hovering over the pelvis. One more breath here. And release. We'll release the TheraBand, and we're going to just place that off to the side. We'll inhale, float the shoulders up towards the ears. And exhale, imagining there's a bead of water rolling down the neck, down the shoulder, down the arms, off the fingertips. One more time, inhale. And as we exhale and let gravity take the arms down, notice the spine can stay tall. So we're like moving in two directions, and then we'll float the arms in front overhead. And then we'll keep them in front of the body slightly as we open down around. And let's think about finding ease of movement as we draw these circles with our arms. Inhaling, arm up. And exhaling, open down. Let's reverse that direction. So we'll inhale, open up. And we'll exhale as we come through center. Let's notice how the movement is initiated through the back and the shoulder blades, and the arms are just going along for a ride. So we find, I notice it as a little bit of heaviness through my back, but that may or may not be a sensation that feels familiar to you, but we're looking for this connection with the shoulder blades gliding along the ribs, and the arms are just carrying along for the ride. Pausing here, let's open our feet a little bit, and we're going to bend our knees. So I'll give you two options here. You can either do a bend where you glide the back down the wall, or if you want, we can come into a squat here, thinking of that hip hinge coming right where the pelvis and thigh bone meet, and spine is nice and long. So this different than this. Okay. So whatever options, or you can play with mixing up those two together. So we'll feel for the feet, the four corners of the feet, and we'll bend the knees. And then we'll press through the feet, growing tall, tall, tall as we lift. And then let's lift our heels. Keep the connection of the feet to the floor. Can we lift a little taller through the spine? And then we'll lower the heels down. Shifting the weight over the four corners. Let's bend the knees. Pressing through the feet, coming up. I was going to give a cue, but then I've said you can squat or do this. So I'll keep it generic. We'll lift our heels, grow tall through the spine, and then lower the heels. If you need any kind of balance support, feel free to grab a chair. We'll bend the knees, push through the feet. Feel this connection with the feet into the ground. Keep that connection, energy down into the ground as we float. Notice the ribs are still hovering above the pelvis, And then we'll lower down. Let's do one more. We'll bend the knees. And we'll exhale, push through the feet. Inhale, floating up, grow tall, 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 like you have a string at the top of the head, lengthening you up. And then we'll exhale, coming down. Let's bring our hands, prayer pose, thumbs towards the breastbone. And we're going to continue with these bends. We'll bend the knee, keep the feet connected to the ground as we straighten the knees. And then we'll shine the breastbone up towards the sky and back through center. Low back staying quiet, bending the knees, pushing the feet. So here we are, low back staying fairly quiet. Inhale, shine the breastbone. And exhale back through center. It might be a teeny tiny movement. Bend the knees, and that's okay. Press through the feet. Inhale, breastbone shines, back of the neck nice and long. Exhale through center, or rather just long. Bend the knees. I'm trying to take out the word nice out of my teaching repertoire. Straighten the knees, but it's harder said than done. Inhale, neck stays long. And exhale through center. Let's lower the arms. We'll take our left foot now, and we're going to bring it back into a calf stretch. So we want this heel to touch the ground. If your heel is floating, then you're still having a contraction in that muscle. So if you notice the heel isn't down, I want you to scoot your leg in a little bit closer. From here, we're going to lift the heel. Toes are going to widen. And then we'll press the heel down. See if you can drive that heel even further into the floor. Again, if you need a chair here for balance, feel free to use it. This is not a balance test. We'll lift the heel, feel the toes widen, getting some stretch through the foot there. And then we'll lower the heel, pressing the heel down. We'll lift the heel. And then we'll press the heel down, long from head to tail here. We're going to keep the heel connected. And now bend that back knee. Again, this might be a teeny tiny movement. You want the heel to stay down, knee coming forward. And then we'll straighten that knee. So depending on the length of the muscle versus your connective tissue, we'll bend that back knee and straighten. That's going to dictate what's available to you in terms of stretch, bend the knee. So don't think of it about as how deep you're going, and rather just find the range that works for you. Straightening the knee. Let's lift this heel. We're going to notice we have a weight driving down into the 4 points of this foot, and we're going to transfer the weight and step up. We'll take the other leg. We're going to step back. Again, heel's going to touch the floor, trying to get our toes as parallel as we can. So if you notice that you're in a turned out position, move in just a smidge more and see if you can work in that position. If it creates discomfort, then you're going to again shuffle back out. From here, let's lift the heel, feel the toes widen, long from crown to tail. And then we'll press the heel down. Can you press it down a little further? We'll lift the heel, inhale, and we'll exhale, press that heel down. Inhale, lift the heel, and exhale, press the heel. Heel's going to stay down. We're going to bend that back knee, the knee coming forward. And then we'll straighten. So now shifting between the two major muscles of the calf as we bend, getting into the lower part of the calf. And as we straighten, getting into the upper part of the calf. One more time, we'll bend that back knee. And then we'll straighten. Let's notice again, weight is coming through this front foot. We're going to lift the heel, drive the energy down towards the heel of this foot as you transfer weight and step up. We're going to take ourselves to a wall, and we're going to put our hands on the wall. So you can decide here, you can also do this without a wall. You can be directly up and down, or you can step back as far as feels like a good challenge for you. And we're going to feel that our fingertips and our palms are pressing into the wall. And we're going to keep the elbows straight and notice that our hip bones are gently drawing towards one another. Ribs are above pelvis. So if we find that bottom rib and that hip bone, we're going to keep those in line. And then we're going to bring shoulder blades together. Nothing else moves. And then push the wall away, shoulder blades widen. Shoulder blades get closer together. Push the wall away, shoulder blades widen. Notice what's happening with the torso. As shoulder blades get closer together, we want to keep the ribs stacked over the hips here. Shoulder blades widen on the back. That's just going to get our core working for. So we're doing double duty here. Shoulder blades get closer together. And then let's push the wall away. Shoulder blades are wide. We're going to think about keeping that left shoulder blade wide on the back, and we're just going to float the right arm off the wall. And then we'll place the right arm down, push the wall away with the right arm, feel that shoulder blade wide, keeping it wide as we lift the left hand off and placing it down. Now, if at any point, we're just going to alternate sides. If at any point you need to adjust your feet, feel free to do that. So again, you can be like so, and still using the wall for resistance, still pushing into the wall, shoulder blade wide, keeping the shoulder blade wide as we float off. And then also, if that's feeling okay and you're feeling pretty confident with where you're at, let's notice what the hips are doing. And we're going to try and keep them square to the wall. So hips are square to the wall, shoulders are square to the wall, ribs are hovering over hips. It's a lot of cues. Let's just take a second to find that. Shoulder blades are wide. Let's float the right arm off and we'll touch it back down. Let's not forget to breathe either, like I just was. We'll lift the left hand away and we'll touch back down. Let's do one more on each side, lifting the arm away, touching down, left arm lifts and touching down. Let's come out of that position. Let's shake out the arms. And before we just go down to the ground, let's just do a shoulder circle. Maybe you'll find a spot in there that you notice needs a little TLC. Let's reverse directions, breathing as we circle.